we good? Okay, we're back on YouTube. I don't know why it was just buffering that entire time, but it should be going up right now.
Difficult conditions, often for very little pay.
And she said let them eat cloud bread. Yeah.
And their life expectancies were far shorter due to all this hard work too. But what we see in the Queen's Hamlet is a romanticized version of that experience. This practice of viewing those in hard-working, poverty-stricken positions in an idealized romantic way was not only a glaring symbol of how out of touch the wealthy can be, but also represented a real shift in how poverty itself was viewed compared to the past. Going as far back as the ancient Romans and Greeks, the common person looked up to whoever was in power or wealthy with fascination and attempted to emulate them. And the commoner, or poverty-stricken, were seen as deplorable in almost every way.
Dude, why would you... Oh, man. Just fucking... Just have a giant angry mob and to the crows.
They were seen as immoral, unsanitary, and were the last place anyone of high status would look to for inspiration. In ancient Rome, emperor worship was standard, and like today, the average person would attempt to mimic the style and behavior of those with great influence and power. Olympians were seen as heroes, people copied the grooming habits of the elites, and
well, Olympians are cool. If you're watching this, Alyssa Liu.
Some poor citizens would mimic the drinking
But an Olympian is not the elite ruling class. They don't even get paid.
Parties of the rich, reclining while eating and having small gatherings. In medieval Europe, rulers were legitimized through something known as divine right, or the idea that the monarchy got their authority from God.
Oh my god! I know I get sidetracked so often. Literally, the fact that England still has a king the fact that you guys still have a royal family and even if you guys don't literally still believe it, the fact that you guys still have them around and glaze them because, oh, they're ordained by God, they're the royal family, God save the queen, that is such made behavior. I can't believe you guys still have that. Like, we have billionaires that rule over us, but I don't worship them. Let's talk about Japan's royal family that wasn't the same royal family and still in existence today. Ty, that same royal family in Japan that apparently I saw a thing that was like is gonna go out of existence because they're only gonna acknowledge the boy, like the male heir, and not any of the princesses or whatever. Something like that.
Therefore, their subjects looked to them with awe and fascination. Because of this association of royalty with divinity, villagers often viewed their leaders as almost gods themselves, capable of special healing powers.
I'd like to give your son my blessing.
I'd be honored.
Everyone, including the poor, looked to them for fashion and cultural inspiration. Like I talked about in my last video, the idea of a decentralized popular culture didn't yet exist. Culture was not democratized or ubiquitous in society, but was gatekept and centralized within the elites or royalty. For most of human history, culture trends and fashion were dictated by those in high positions and only by them. It's not that the common person or the poverty-stricken didn't have their own culture. All humans do, but just that culture itself was seen as something objective in society. What the rich and powerful did, thought, and liked was objectively better because they were better in every way. Closer to God or the gods, morally pure in their actions, and just physically different and better than everyone else.
Dude, shout out France for the 1 time, okay? And shout out Haitians for the 10 time.
He is for all mankind.
The first real change we saw that shifted this perception was the story of Jesus and the widespread adoption of Christianity throughout Europe. It may seem crazy to us today in a world where Christianity is the largest religion
Burger
on
King
Earth,
sucks on the YouTube.
but at the time of its creation, it was incredibly unique and subversive.
Is this the man you think so dangerous?
Literally, the fact that Christianity was such a revolutionary idea, and the whole crux of it was, hey, be nice to people. What do you give your money to those that need it? The world wasn't ready to hear that. Christianity, it was literally like, hey guys, what do you don't be out here killing people for nothing. What do you be nice to the homeless person? The lady working out on the street at night, be nice to her. And the world was like, whoa, what? What is this? What is this heresy that I'm hearing right now? This is blasphemy. It said we could be feared by Haiti can't exactly.
This, the man that aspires to be a king.
In the Roman Empire, as with most ancient societies, forgiveness, unconditional love, meekness, and poverty
Period,
were seen as
Jesus. No, exactly. Jesus, and I know everyone has said this to death, but Jesus was the original the woker. Jesus was the very first woke person, all right? Jesus, if he was here now, he would be the woke. He would be, what's it called? He would be, like, amputee hijabi on Twitter. Jesus would be literally the antithesis of the modern, like, Christian nationalist movement right now. Everything that he preached is the opposite of what Christians, so-called Christians now preach.
as things to avoid and as going against everything a strong society should stand for. Gods were not born of everyday people into poverty or able to be killed. Not everyone was worthy of divine blessings or love, and forgiveness and mercy were seen as weak. Gods were traditionally great.
She's not a Christian! The worst person you know will say, I'm nice because I'm Christian before spewing hate and judgment. It's like, thankfully there are still some people that will take those values to heart and be like, oh, man, you should love your neighbor and treat those how you would like to be treated. But for so often now, it's just used as like a cover for such wicked things.
Warriors and
Solo poly hijabi amputee mentioned. Yes, thank you, Chicken Noodle Soup. If Jesus were here now today, he would be solo poly hijabi amputee.
leaders, not pacifists who preached all this lovey-dovey nonsense. Gods were from elite families with wealth and royalty, not from the commoners. Wealth, pride, and status were virtuous,
Ew.
not seen as something to suppress or avoid. Those who turned the other cheek, spoke of unconditional forgiveness or the equality of everyone, were not
I'm sorry, ugh, jump scare. I'm sorry, Jesus. Your picture is airbrushed as shit, dude. I don't even know what you look like here.
the other cheek, spoke of unconditional forgiveness or the equality of everyone, were not only seen as weak and pathetic, but also insane.
My bullies have Bible verses in their bio. Dude, without fail online, anytime you see the most evil, heinous shit online, go to their bio. Leviticus 2:23, Ecclesiastes, John 27.
The greatest of kings, born in the most humble of places.
The social status of Jesus himself as an ordinary carpenter who was born in a manger was also quite subversive. It centered through association with divinity, the average person, and even a less than desirable commoner lifestyle. Think of it as one of the OG underdog stories. The OG romanticizing my everyday working class life stories. Before Christianity, the idea of this type of subversion was rare. Those with great wealth or status were seen as justified through divinity. In other words, the gods wouldn't allow someone they didn't like to have power or wealth,
Whoa!
so that way as the
Don't show that.
privileged and wealthy were. No one should want to be poor or meek. There's nothing wrong with indulging in your wealth and being
I'm back.
prideful.
Hello, mystery
because
girl.
the gods have blessed you.
Stop
with these
showing that
things.
picture,
Viewed
dude.
Suffering
Don't
or
show that
peace,
either.
it could actually have a valuable meaning. Christianity aligned suffering with virtue and began to inspire people to view those in dire situations as not only admirable, but even holier or closer to God. Now, it wouldn't be fair to claim that Christianity was the only belief to inspire this new way of viewing the world, as many other Eastern and even Greek philosophies also preached similar things.
That's true. You had that, but also you had you had Buddhist teachings that are like, dude, instead of it being revolutionary to be like, be nice to people, it was revolutionary to be like, dude, why would you even like want things? Why should you? Who are you? You want stuff? You want to have money and stuff? You're not even anything, dude. You're part of the universe. You're like a bug or a bird. You're like the same thing.
It's just that when looking at America and modern Western society in general, Christianity and its stories and values had an overwhelming effect on its history and culture. So coming back to Marie Antoinette, Christianity and its anti-establishment emphasis on subversive values really helped plant the seeds for viewing poverty and suffering as admirable or even desirable. The second, and arguably more influential reason we see Marie Antoinette-like behavior back then into
the belief that we're meant to suffer to reach godliness is what has kept black people in the trenches for years. Whimsy Dream Girl. Hello, Bread Broski, dude. Whimsy Dream Girl, don't even get me started on that. Don't even get me started on how low key, how are you gonna still be Christian as a minority in America when you know that religion was literally forced upon people, like, violently. That's so crazy, dude.
today has to do with a movement known as Romanticism.
This is the story of man's escape from the shackles of commerce and industry to the freedom of nature.
Romanticism was a philosophical, artistic,
like indigenous Christians. Literally, that's so crazy.
and literary movement from the late 18th and 19th centuries that began in Europe. It was in response to the rigid values of the Enlightenment, with the Enlightenment being in response to the thousands of years of superstition and religion that dominated European society. The Enlightenment was a philosophical and intellectual movement.
Wait, I don't really know anything about religion. Christianity was forced upon people? Wait, I don't really know anything about religion. Christianity was forced upon people? It still is, Borchacho. Dude. Yes. Munchie, I see you trying not to laugh! Yes. That religion was violently forced upon people. And in a lot of ways to make them subservient. The only good thing is the role the church plays in helping black people plan their freedoms and become literate and plan uprisings. Yes, that is very beneficial. Respectfully, did you miss every history lesson ever? That's just history, bro. Greater therein. I didn't know, I'm sorry. Bread Broski. Low key. I'm gonna assume that you're 12, and if you're older than that, don't admit it, because that's crazy. I'm stupid. It's not that you're stupid, it's that did you pay attention even a single day in history class?
That promoted and centered human reason, logic, skepticism, individualism, and technological or scientific progress. It was basically like all of European
people joining churches because there's no more third spaces. FISA, it's crazy because, like, that is a classic third space. But yeah, people are so desperate for a third space. But for a lot of people, church can fill that.
Society woke up and realized that religion hadn't really
and it's
done
good
much
for them if they can find community in that.
For advancing society, and that humanity's potential was in their own hands, not in that of some distant, abstract deity.
No, like raging
but like
atheists.
most ideologies,
that's what my friends would tell me. They would be like, Louis, you don't drink or do anything. You should go to church. You should go to church and meet like a Mormon girl.
these Enlightenment era values also became very rigid and dominant,
Love
almost
Cain
like
and
they
Jesus,
had
though.
become
Shout
a
out that guy hating rich people. Naz, I agree. Shout out Cain and Jesus.
religion themselves. And eventually, people began to rebel against them. One of these first rebellions was the Romantic movement. Romanticism embraced a return to a more spiritual, emotional, even irrational view
I like
of the world.
romance.
It embraced individualism, subjectivism, the natural world, the sublime, and nostalgia. So the Enlightenment created all these new movements, which led to the rapid development of cities and industries.
Okay, I genuinely didn't learn this. Bread Broski, genuinely Bread Broski, I would look it up. Cause not even just like for your information, it's genuinely fascinating if you finally like look into that and look up the horrible, terrible shit that Crusaders did to everywhere and the Spanish Inquisition. Shout out Jesus, bro. Hung out with S workers and said they will be welcomed into the kingdom of God. Bethany Jade, that is one of the reasons that people would literally hate Jesus if he came around today. People that pretend that they love all these sorts of Christian values, they will literally like want to burn S workers at the stake when literally Jesus was like, they're awesome. What are you doing? Be nice to them.
And its thinkers would argue that this is a good thing because it's progress, and progress is good. Nature is wild, untamed, and wasteful, and it exists for humans to sculpt into something better. The Romantics would reject this, pointing to the pollution and disease of modern cities, instead choosing to appreciate natural landscapes as they are, untouched by human influence. An Enlightenment thinker would argue that progress is inevitable, and that the further we look back, the worse things get. While
Based.
the Romantic would say that the Industrial Revolution is destroying the environment, and that
Semi-based. Probably not for the right reasons.
modern factory jobs are soul-crushing and unnatural.
Yes.
At a time when the world was becoming increasingly mechanized, the Romantics sought an intense
Jesus was Palestinian, by the way. Yes, historically, most likely.
relationship with the natural world.
The Romantic would instead look back on the past with rose-tinted glasses, viewing it in an idyllic, mythologized way. Enlightenment-era thinkers would say emotions are irrational, and
What does that guy know about emotions?
that we should seek to restrain them in favor of logic and reason, while the Romantics would reject this, embracing emotion as interesting and poetic. But perhaps nothing describes Romanticism better than its appreciation of the irrational. This is where Marie Antoinette and her cosplaying poverty come in. On paper, idealizing a life of hard work, dirt, and poverty would seem clearly irrational, but Romanticism influenced people to reject that. To Marie Antoinette, pastoral living wasn't hard and undesirable, it was artsy, noble, and idyllic. What Romanticism did was basically give people permission to be irrational as an art form. It was a way to think and view the world, not by critically analyzing or questioning it, but by feeling and appreciating it, even if you had to idealize and distort a bit to make that possible.
Dude, philosophy is so fascinating, guys. Philosophy is so fascinating, and we could, like, rationalize all of this. Surf's up, my dude. Hello. When really, it's probably more fun to, like, care for little animals with your friends and your buddies than to sit in a stuffy castle all day. Is it really, like, you know what I mean? Like, is it really that far out of the realm of possibilities that Marie Antoinette would have more fun, like people play farming sims. People yearn for fun little activities. It's just fun when you are choosing to do them than when you have to or you'll die. Like rich people going to Burning Man. Better than my real art history classes. Romantic be like, don't you guys remember those workhouses for poor people and indentured servitude? Man, those were the days. Beluga, thank you so much for the follow. Sims is cool.
Romanticism made it far easier for us to view suffering in less than desirable circumstances as admirable and even aesthetically pleasing.
She had a real life farming sim. That's literally what she had. She had a one-to-one farming sim.
Movements have come and gone since Romanticism, its influence still dominates modern society, culture, and art to this day, and it's something you've definitely heard about if you spent any time on social media.
Famous residence. Trailers, yeah, the first one you see.
This is Lizzie Grant giving a tour of her New Jersey trailer park back in 2008. If she looks weirdly familiar and you aren't sure why, that's because
Is that Lana Del Rey?
Lizzie Grant is actually Lana Del Rey, just an earlier underground version. Now, while contemporary Lana has distanced herself from her unreleased early work, it has still come to define her in the aesthetic she's come to represent. Ever since the days of Tumblr and the popularity of Americana GIFs, Lana Del Rey has become a symbol of romanticism. Her early
Have
works
I watched
focus
Marks and Rhubarb? I do not think so.
a lot on the working class experience, romanticizing many aspects of a mundane, at times depressing, even dangerous life in ways that you didn't even know were possible.
Let's do drugs, make love with our teachers. I'm a fan
Let's not do that.
of the pro and a nation. I do the drugs to stop the brain. If you wanna get out of me, I'll need the bank to the crack.
This
All
trailer
of
park
that,
life has
everything you said is crazy. Lana Del Rey pretended to be a Latina. Yes, never liked her. Well, that's crazy.
become a symbol of the Lizzie Grant days, where Lana would often
Lana
sing
Del Rey is my sworn enemy as a Tumblr user.
about her trailer and
I
surviving
haven't
on
even heard about any of this.
nothing but bread and oranges. She'd poetically paint a picture of an uncertain life, living on the road and chasing dangerous men who don't seem interested. She talks about how she doesn't care about going to prison for those she loves, how she is the gangster Nancy Sinatra, and just how much she loves Kmart lip gloss, being white trash, or working at the local diner. For many of us who really enjoy Lana's unreleased work, we find it gives us a window into a world of beauty and danger, meaning and subversion, but also shows us how we can reclaim our own lives as well. To Lana fans, she is the queen of romanticism and shows those of us from mundane, less than desirable, even poverty-stricken backgrounds that we can find beauty and meaning in our lives too.
Dude, it's so... I hate that she romanticizes abuse. And it felt like a kiss. Sigh about. That's insane. That's an insane lyric. It's so crazy that we're so starved for artists that like share like similar experiences that we have to look to Lana Del Rey as like the queen of romanticization. Ugh.
If Lana can go through all these things, be from a low-income background, and even come from a trailer park herself and still find a
I'm a
way
Halsey fan, I
to
have
give it
different
such
set
a
of issues.
significance and beauty, then we can too. Except it was all a lie. Lana Del Rey didn't come from poverty, and almost everything she sang about in her early work was fictional romanticization.
It was all a lie. Guys, it was all a lie. She lied.
Lana Del Rey is New England old money, with her grandfather and father being the CEO of one of the largest corporations in America, owning several properties and real estate companies. You can watch my deep dive on Lana's family if you don't believe me.
TikTok Live got taken down. Live acts. What? Why did my live get... Oh, okay. Live got taken down. Submit appeal, I guess. Nudity and body exposure. Oh. My live got taken down for nudity and body exposure because it was showing those Renaissance paintings. Dude. I really can't with TikTok, dude. TikTok suspended me for nudity and body exposure. Because the guy showed those like Renaissance paintings. TikTok is so ass, dude. It's so fucking if I'm being real with you guys, that shit is so like disheartening as like a streamer and a guy who does this internet thing, because I get these suspensions and I have to appeal, and usually the appeals go through because they're like, oh, you're right, we were tripping, you don't deserve a strike for that. But I don't know if the appeal gets taken down, but it still counts as like a strike on my profile. And if one day my account will just be gone, and that'll be it for me, and I don't know if I'll be able to talk to someone. Second time this happened in like a week. No, it's so fucking disheartening. It's so annoying. And luckily, last time it got sorted out pretty fast when I submitted an appeal. But it's so frustrating as someone who has to rely on these platforms, and they could just fucking take it all away in a second. Bunch of you might have to choose certain streams to do on TikTok. Yeah, I should have just done that as a TikTok only, but fuck, dude, that's so frustrating. Oh my lordy! Let me see if... Okay, account updates. Appeal submitted. Thanks for submitting your appeal. You'll receive a notification as soon as we have an update. Maybe you should make a backup for lives. I guess. Genuinely insane. I know they won't, but TikTok really needs to fix their shitty-ass AI review. It's... Good lord.
Now, to be fair to Lana, this is something that is insanely common today, especially in indie spaces.
I'm like shaking and sweating profusely.
Well, at least now that I'm not on TikTok, I don't have to worry as much, and I can say that Grimes is really fucking annoying, and how she still tries to talk like she's a normal person, even after having a kid with the richest human on the planet. And she'll be like, I have a provision for the communists. What if everyone got into selling video game items for real money? Grimes, low-key, you don't deserve to speak in the public square for the rest of your life.
We also have Grimes, who notoriously presented herself as a DIY indie artist who came from nothing, living in a shack and eating squirrels to survive, only to actually come from an upper-middle-class Canadian family, going to private Catholic schools, and eventually marrying the richest
Grimes,
man
you did not
on
deserve
Earth.
that collab with Luna. Mac, I completely agree. To this day, that makes me upset, even though I'm not even technically up to date with Luna lore. That is infuriating.
To a lesser extent, we have Lady Gaga, who, while never explicitly saying she came from poverty, has often been touted as having nothing but a Party City wig and a dream online, despite the fact that her parents were from the Upper West Side of Manhattan and helped pay for her apartment so she could focus on her dreams. There's Taylor Swift, who in the beginning was marketed as this rural country bumpkin, even though she was originally from Pennsylvania and her dad was a wealthy stockbroker and her mother, conveniently, a marketing executive.
Oh man, dude. Is anything real? Is anything real in the world? Pink Panthers is real. And I love her. Why is Katie smiling like that? I don't know, because she's... whatever.
The more we find out that so many of the famous people we look up to came from wealth, the more people
Thank you, Faza, for telling me about the TikTok. Mikey Way, thank you for the follow.
Ask, why is it always the case? And it always has to do with opportunity. There are talented people everywhere, every day, right now, who are working towards their goals and dreams. It's just that they also have to work a full-time job, might suffer from debilitating mental illnesses, don't have elite connection.
Guys, I'm gonna have to be checking my phone for the rest of this stream. Hopefully, I'll get a really quick appeal to go through, because, oh, that's so worrying, dude. Oh my god, every single time I try to do anything, TikTok is like, no, you're suspended.
Or the generational wealth to fund it. Those who have these privileges simply have more opportunities from the get-go, which greatly increases their odds of succeeding. But why is it that so many who come from such wealth and opportunity tend to obsess over denying it? Almost like they want to be perceived as middle class or even poor.
Why'd you get banned, Fiza? I got banned for nudity. Because it showed those Renaissance paintings that had nude figures in them. And TikTok is literally, when it comes to moderating anything, it won't take down people on the app that show nudity. It won't take down people that show violence. It won't take down anything on TikTok. It won't take down all of the hundreds of people on TikTok who are just bot accounts that steal my videos and post them, and when I report them because they're just stealing my videos, TikTok is like, nope, we're not gonna do anything about them. They're not pretending to be someone else. Won't do anything about that. But they will take me down for showing a video that showed a Renaissance painting because it had nudity in it. What happened to the other live? Did I miss something? It's Mystery Girl. It got taken down for nudity and body exposure because I showed a painting from this guy's video.
To Lana Del Rey, Grimes, and indie music, it again partly has to do with romanticism. Nearly all music
Thank you, May Sylvan.
in the modern world is influenced in some way by the ideas found in romanticism.
AI mods.
Modern
Exactly.
music tends to not be bound by rationality, driven by emotion and subjectivity, and loves to delve into all sorts of topics no matter how dark or taboo. These are inherently romantic ideas. But romanticism applied to wealth and privilege doesn't really hit as well. This is because attempting to romanticize the good life doesn't make much sense because it is already seen that way by default. What good is a song that talks about how great privilege is? Like, yeah, we already know that. Most good art is subversive in some way and challenges current norms and ideas. Sadness isn't something to be avoided, it's beautiful and artsy.
You know what? You know what?
Poverty isn't embarrassing and shameful, it's poetic and meaningful. Heartbreak isn't just pain, but also art. This subversion is what makes the use of romanticism so impactful. But like the popularity of Lana's early poverty-core aesthetic, what romanticism also did was become a powerful way to cope. It became a tool that could help those who suffer in some way by justifying and legitimizing it. Again, suffering no longer becomes something to avoid or that you should wish to escape, but becomes an art form itself.
Chat, I'm a little mad. I'm gonna cut this stream, and we're gonna raid Hair Soup, cause chat, I'm a little mad. But we are going to listen to Cat's Eye Leak. Ooh.
2020 beans.
I be on the new.
No. Where is it?
I got it from my mama. The dress I'm in designer. My hair tied up bandana. I'm hungry for banana. Took a sip, it's yummy. Just got me feeling.
Ooh, thank you everyone. We're gonna raid Hair Soup. Thank you for all your well wishes, guys. I really appreciate you guys. See you guys next time. Hopefully my